All right, so here we are. I believe this is live stream 6. I've kind of lost count, but today's a good one. So we're joined once again by Luke from Reynolds Reviews. And this time making his debut on the channel is Bry, who will be with us very shortly. So, Luke, we may as well start out talking about, have you acquired anything cool for your collection recently?
I have. I did. Well, I say recently. It was in the last few weeks. You may have seen the. It was a friend of mine who cleared out his old childhood toys from his mum and dad's house. He did. It was very nice and let me keep a few things for helping him out. So it was going to be on the Transformers Part 2 video, which I lost. So I did acquire a few G1s, as you know, G1 Transformers. I'll show you a couple that I managed to get. So I haven't transformed him, but I did get.
Oh wow.
An original G1 Soundwave.
Oh, very nice.
I have got, I think he should open. There we go. I have got some cassettes to go in there. So I did get Soundwave. And I got a few others which you've seen, but I also got a G1 Cyclonus.
Oh, wow.
So I transformed him into robot mode, and I thought I was going to break him because when these pieces flipped behind, they were extreme. I mean, it's a good sign because they were stiff, which means it hadn't had a huge amount of play, but so stiff to the point I thought I was going to break it. But, So I did get those. I have had a few other things, but I'll be doing videos on those. So.
Oh, yeah, sure. Very nice acquisitions there. So, Bry, have you bought anything recently for your collection?
Well, I'm just a Star Wars guy, really. So I've ordered. Well, they should be due any day. Just the retro, the Mandalorian, and I've picked up the Empire range and the first Star Wars range. So yeah, that's about it. So I can't wait to see the Mandalorian range and see what they're like. Obviously I've seen them online. I think they look, from what I see from the pictures, they look like they fit. You know, the vintage, the original vintage range. So. I've got one. I've bought a few to open, and I'll collect the rest as it goes on because they're quite easy to get.
Yeah, I was just saying to Bry before we went on air live that it's Hasbro's distribution is for these things is just horrendous. Now I realize that in America we do get a lot of things before the rest of the world, but it's bizarre that England and Scotland and Europe, I guess, have their Mandalorian retro collection figures in hand, and mine are still waiting to be released, possibly in May.
Really? I know, it's crazy.
Yeah,
bizarre. I've never really understood the logic behind distribution patterns. I mean, I don't take a lot of notice of it, if I'm honest. Distribution patterns and things like that. Like you were saying earlier, I mean, I do get some. I mean, my main focus is vintage stuff, but I do get some modern stuff. But the retro Mandalorian figures are something that I'm sort of leaving at the moment. Now, that's not because I don't like them. I really do like the retro collection. But I'd got myself geared up for Jedi. That was the problem. And then they announced Mandalorian, and it sort of made me do that. So, right, okay, why are we doing that now? I guess the whole point is Mandalorian's current, so obviously people are going to want that stuff. But my confusion is sort of. But surely the retro collection was the whole point of the retro collection was to recreate the vintage figures. So I was a bit baffled by how we can have a retro collection of current characters.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'd geared myself up for Jedi. You know, I was already starting to think, are we going to get a new Leia Bouche? Are we going to get?
I mean, they've got some money move.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because the fact is, it was just pure coincidence that the Empire retro line came out on the 40th anniversary.
Luke Jedi was the 70th. That was it.
Yeah, because that wasn't. I don't believe it was intended that they were going to say let's leave the Jedi line until the 40th anniversary, because it was coincidence it happened with Empire. So it should have been the Jedi figures for Wave 3, but they jumped on the Mandalorian bandwagon, and even then. They've messed up because they're so far behind the show that they're giving us characters in this Wave 3 that are now dead in the show. You know, IG-11, Queel. If they just held off, they could have actually used the Mandalorian as a means to reintroduce a lot of classic Kenner figures, such as the Tusken Raiders, obviously Luke Jedi, R2-D2. Weequays, all that. So many figures they could have released under the heading of Mandalorian, but still kept it retro. So.
Yeah, I mean, I believe the Jedi figures are coming after now, Mandalorian. So I know they are coming, but I think I just got so excited for the Jedi line, and because there's a lot of characters in the Jedi line that I love, and I was convinced that I suppose like a lot of people do, in my head, I'd convinced myself I kind of knew, they're definitely going to do a Leia boost, they'll definitely do a Luke Jedi. And I mean, I'll probably be wrong, but I think so. I got myself all worked up for those, and then they announced the Mandalorian. So whilst I do like the line, I don't know if I'm going to pick it up.
Yeah. So I guess I did say this show would be kind of reminiscing about things that we missed about the 80s. But before we get to that, let's just go through some of these comments so we keep things relatively up to date. So this is 80s and Star Wars guy. Hello. And this is Tracker, and he's saying he misses the drive-in movies, roller skating waitresses, and everything. The good old days. Love the channel. Keep up. Oh, thank you. Actually, in the UK, I don't think we ever had drive-in movies.
No, I don't. No, I don't recall.
I don't recall that at all. But no. But certainly
that would have been nice. That would have been nice.
Oh yeah,
the weather's too bad.
It looks fantastic. Especially the roller skating waitresses would be great.
Yeah.
Smuggler's Canyon. Good evening, all.
Yeah.
Good evening to you. Biker Scout, fit like Maloon. So this is our Aberdonian friend. And Lone Dragon. Almost missed the notification, but I made it. Well, thank you. They let me down by not having a snowtrooper in the Empire wave. Well, that's very true. Yeah. In fact, there were no Imperials in the second wave, which was a bit of a missed opportunity. I don't understand why Hasbro won't make the missing characters from the original Kenner line. But then again, a lot of what Hasbro does is a mystery. Well, I think it's a mystery to all of us. I think whatever you think is going to be the logical next step, Hasbro does the complete opposite of that. So.
It is. I mean, I think the Biker Scout would definitely.
Biker Scout, I would love to see a Biker Scout in the Jedi line,
Yeah, definitely. Hey, Smuggler's Canyon. Hasbro is a mess. Smuggler's Canyon.
I'm lagging a wee bit. You guys all right with the stream?
Yeah. We're okay. Yeah. G.I. Joe Classified, fortunately, neither do I. I never actually had G.I. Joe. I had Action Force, and up until the point where it morphed into G.I. Joe, that was when I was no longer collecting toys. So for me, Action Force is up to that point where it became G.I. Joe. What's this? Hello. Hello, how's the hello? What's up? Good evening. How you guys doing? We're very good. I hope I can speak for you all, but I think we're all doing pretty well tonight.
Yeah, good. Very good, yeah.
Ohio here. It's amazing to me how influential America was in the 80s. I was just a kid and had no idea the rest of the world liked their music, toys, and movies. Yeah. Although in saying that, we did have a lot of our own TV shows that were unique to the UK that were equally as good as some of the American stuff we got. Although in saying that, a lot of the...
I think movies...
movies especially.
Movies, definitely,
But a lot of our sort of, or my favourite TV growing up was definitely produced in the UK. We'll get to these memories shortly. If relevance was their goal, then Beskar, Armor, Mando, Boba, etc. would be more relevant. It's like I said, they're releasing characters from the first season of Mandalorian that is now long gone. But that season finished, it was December of 2020, wasn't it? No. 2019.
Yeah.
So it's now a 2-year-old season they're basing these new characters on. Yeah, they're a bit behind the times. Oh, Jack, evening. Hello all in the chat. Too cold for drive-in movies in Scotland. Yeah. Too
wet
cold.
In Yorkshire.
Too wet. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm picking and choosing from the G.I. Joe classified line. Some of the figures are great. Others are pants. Golden pants. Hey, Smuggler, Toy Rush. Hi, Jack, mate. Just got classified Zartan and Cobra Trooper. Very nice figures and faithful in design to the original. Now, are these new G.I. Joes, are they like the sort of 6-inch scale? So they're like Black Series in terms of...
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I'm not massively clued up. I don't have much GI Joe. In fact, I virtually don't have any. I generally collect stuff that I feel that I've got a nostalgic connection to.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I had a handful of GI Joes as a kid. So whilst I look at the classifieds especially, and I do like the look of them, I just don't feel I've got that draw to them to make me start collecting them. I mean, I do like the classified Snake Eyes. I think Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow are two characters that you're just drawn to because they're kind of the two characters that when you were kids, or if I had friends that collected G.I. Joe, they were the two characters you always played with. But they just haven't pulled me in enough because I just don't feel I've got that connection more than other lines, you know?
No. So, Bry, did you ever collect Action Force when you were a young lad? I think he's frozen.
I think it's just a bit of a delay, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a wee delay, I think.
All right. But did you get that last question? I just asked, when you were young, did you collect any of the Action Force figures from Palitoy?
Technical issues.
Yeah.
I think we're having technical issues there.
Yeah. Okay, we'll continue with the chats, then we'll get on to our sort of main topics. So I decided just to go retro. G.I. Joe's all about the vehicles, and most of my money is in collecting other lines. I decided to collect Cobra only, and also because I didn't like the retro roadblock. Okay.
Right. Yeah. Yes, please do, Jack. Please do. Be very interested to see what they've got.
Okay. G.I. Joe, so it's just like Black Series. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tons of the Action Force figures and vehicles as a kid. Wished I'd start to collect them again sooner. Yeah. And that's the problem I'm having is because Action Force was UK and Europe only, to buy them now, they're mostly found in the UK and Europe, so the price of shipping these over to the US it's just not worth doing. So. And Graham, he misses the BMX. Yeah, don't we all?
I miss going out on my BMX. Yeah.
Yep.
No real destination, just going right around. Yeah, miss that a lot.
Yeah, I've actually been looking at them. I've been looking at them again on eBay, and there are one or two that are. Yeah, it's sorely tempting.
Lovely, yeah. Good big price tag though, but it was very nice.
Yeah. The only thing is, I'd be concerned that if I tried to do any stunts on these, I'd probably fall off and break a few bones.
Well, that was the thing, wasn't it? I mean, that's one thing I miss, of my childhood of the 80s. You went out on your BMX with your mates, no real destination, and if you found a pile of sand left over from some work somewhere, wow, you were out all night virtually until it got dark. You had to go in when it got dark. That was our rule. When street lights come on, you had to go in.
That's right. But I just remember as a kid, there was one area close to where I lived that I guess they'd been tarmacking the road and they had excess material left over. And for whatever reason, they must have just dumped it. And the way it had set was a perfect ramp.
Brilliant.
That thing must have gone over that 1,000 times as a kid. And each time just getting faster and faster to see how high you could get. Not a fear in the world. Whereas now I'd be terrified to fall off.
Yeah, and I think that was one of the things as a kid, you had no sense of danger, did you? It was just, you did it. Whereas now, the amount of things that I would have done, my lad's 13, the things I would have done at 13, I now watch him say he's going to do it. Whoa. No, you're not doing that. But yeah, it's a totally different era. I mean, talking about things we miss, I simply miss as a whole the kind of way life was in the 80s. A simplicity. I mean, I suppose because we were kids, a simplicity about it. You know, your friends lived on your street. They didn't live in your friends list on Facebook, or your friends lived on your street. You knocked on their door, and a real simplicity and charm about it.
Yeah, that's something else I was going to say. That aside from the material things that we missed from the 80s, it was just that sense of being a child with not a care in the world is something that I really do miss, because life really was pretty simple back then. Some of the biggest concerns you had was whether to watch children's BBC or children's ITV. That was the biggest dilemma facing us. And
I think one of my biggest decisions daily was what flavour Hubba Bubba I was going to buy at the shop on my way to school. Or, cola was the flavour for me. But
I always now Hubba Bubba, was that? No, I'm thinking of. Do you remember Bazooka bubblegum? It was like a one piece. It was like a long piece of bubblegum.
I don't know. I remember one where you got tattoos in it.
Yeah. But Hubba Bubba was non-stick, so you could blow a bubble and it would burst.
Hubba Bubba was like 3 pieces or 4 pieces.
Yeah.
I think you had 4 or 5 in a pack.
4 or 5. And it wouldn't stick to your face. That was their claim. It was the non-stick.
Oh, you mean of tattoos?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I remember the one where you got tattoos in inside the wrapper. I can't think what they were called, but
but I remember the Bazooka gum was not non-stick, and that stuff would just stick to your face and get stuck in your hair and everything. Oh, it was terrible stuff. Pretty tasty, mind you, but really, really messy. But I remember the tattoo stuff. I remember there were 2 distinct types of tattoo gum. One it tasted like medicine, the gum, but the tattoos were like a yellow acid house face.
Yeah, a lot of the time. Yeah, I remember that.
Smiley faces. But the one I really liked.
You used to trace them on or whatever.
Yeah.
No, you used to just. In fact, it was disgusting to think about it, but you would lick your hand and stick this thing on.
Yeah, and then you had to lick the back of it as well, didn't you? And rub it flat. Yeah.
The other one I really liked was called Pirate Tattoo Gum, and that came with like real sailors' tattoos in the packet. Those were pretty cool. But I also vaguely remember getting. Now we're talking possibly late 70s here, but it was Batman and Robin gum with tattoos. And those were like really brightly coloured little tattoos that you would stick to yourself.
You might be going a bit further back for me there. It might be a bit too far back maybe for me there.
Yeah. But any of you guys remember the ice lollies that came, and it was a white plastic stick that was sculpted like Batman or Robin or Wonder Woman?
No, I don't remember those either. I thought you were going to go for the lollies that you can make yourself though, when you had the plastic.
Oh yeah.
And then and you filled the thing, and made your own nice lollies. Yeah, I remember those.
I remember as well.
Remember the ice poles? You used to have ice poles that you could get.
Oh yeah, ice poles.
There was a thing. I don't know if this was exclusive to Edinburgh or called Jubilees.
Oh
and it was basically just blocks of dice. You used to squeeze them out these really cheap plastic tubs and sort of suck on them. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I remember close to my primary school, the newsagent had these, and it was just a plastic cup with fizzy juice left to freeze for like 10p or something. They called them, I don't know where the name Jubilee came from, but that might be a Scottish thing, actually. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't recall those.
Yeah.
We had Mr. Freeze. I think they were the big thing when I was at school. We had Mr. Freeze, yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Freeze, that's right.
Yeah, Mr. Freeze.
Just get through a few more comments here.
Yeah.
Possibly or play value. Possibility
or play value. Play value.
Yeah. Live TV, guys, these things happen. Gremlins in the system.
Yeah, I think it is, because I'm a bit behind the conversation, I think.
Yeah, slightly. I don't know I think I think Luke and I are up to speed, but you're just slightly behind for some reason.
Yeah, I think so. So I'm stuttering a wee bit, but I'll try to keep up. Hopefully it's okay.
Did Biker just say he used to play tag on his bike? He used to play tag on the bikes. Yeah, we did that. Yeah, he used to pull each other off far too often. Yeah. Dangerous, but we did it. Yeah.
So Canada had drive-ins. Oh wow. Yeah, I'd love to have experienced
the odd one here now. They do the odd one. I think they were doing Scarborough, which is about 20 minutes away from where I am. Mm-hmm. They started doing some over Christmas. We never went to one, but they were offering some drive-in movies and stuff. And they were 80s movies as well.
I got none of that. Do you want me to come back in and come out?
Yeah, by all means.
Try that. And come back in.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
the classic turn it off and on again. See if that works.
So Biker, he went to his first ever drive-in when he lived in Canada. Yeah.
I would like to experience one. Yeah. Garden hopping, Garden hopping and knock a door run.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely did that.
So cool. I miss it a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
So many things that are no longer happening these days.
The thing is, I do embrace and enjoy technology to a point. But it has taken away a lot of things I loved as a child growing up.
Yeah. I'm going to zip through these comments and then we'll discuss something along those very lines that I was going to mention. Hey, Tez. Time to relax. Hell yeah. Oh, Mr. Tez. Tracker. The double bubble tasted like medicine. Yeah, I remember. Biker. Tez. Used to get stickers with double bubble. Stickers of pictures of different traditional costumes from around the world.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah,
I do remember that.
Mr. Canyon.
Tomorrow, yeah.
Bonkers candies.
Bonkers candies. No.
Doesn't ring any bells with me.
Bonkers candies. No.
Mr. Freeze.
Yeah. Is that the big? Yeah. The big? Yeah.
The jumbo-sized ones. Yeah. Tez.
Yeah, the jumbo ones. Remember the big jumbo? No, they were gobstoppers. That's what they were.
Oh yeah.
I never have them.
Do you remember they had gobstoppers? They might have been called devil balls, possibly, but they were aniseed. Really, really spicy.
Right.
Do you remember that at all?
Yeah, there was. I do remember a spicy
fireballs. They were called fireballs, and it was a pack of three gobstoppers. But my God, they would blow your head off. I don't know the lolly sticks personally, but Mr. Stevie had.
Yeah, I remember them.
A pair of lolly sticks, right?
Yeah. Still never found out why. Oh yeah.
Tuba used to.
Yeah, I need to look into that.
Stripy tuba.
It wasn't necessarily. It wasn't even stripy. It was more like a marbled, multicolored, chewy bar, and I'm sure the wrapper was green.
Right.
I'm going to have to research this because it's also doing my head in now. So Vomit Man remembers Jawbreakers.
Jawbreakers, yeah.
Jawbreakers, yeah.
And then Bonkers were little fruit chews, I guess, kind of like Starburst. I mostly remember the spring boing sound in the commercials. Possibly from a different country.
Yeah, maybe.
Fan bars. Now, were they pink?
I'll get them.
Pink with sparkly,
pink with like sparkly bits in, yeah.
Yeah.
I always remember One Bars. They were always on the counter. My local newsagents, One Bars were always on the counter next to Highland Toffee.
Oh yeah.
One Bars, Highland Toffee, and there was another one. It might have been Iron Brew Bars, possibly.
Yeah.
But they were always there together. Yeah, I remember those.
That's right. So I think that's us caught up. So I was going to. So Luke, you mentioned about how yes, we do enjoy having technology at our fingertips, but something I miss about the 80s was the fact that we only had 4 channels of TV. And unless you had the TV times or the radio times, you never really knew what was coming on, and it was almost like a live experience
Radio
watching.
times.
Yeah.
Because you had
I get that. Yeah.
Because also prior to the VHS recorders, you had to be there to watch it, otherwise you'd miss it. There was no reruns, there was no on demand, and for me, especially around about Christmas time when they would show the blockbuster movies, it was a real special event when something like that was on TV, and the whole family would gather around and watch these movies together. Whereas nowadays, everything's at our fingertips. We can stream, we can do on demand, and it's taken away that sort of specialness about these shows and movies.
Yeah, I agree. Again, it falls into that category for me of I do love the fact now that we've got so much choice on TV, and you've got things like Disney Plus and all the things we love to watch are at our fingertips now. Yeah. But yeah, you're right. There was I suppose these are probably going to be words I use a lot tonight, a simplicity and charm about 4 channels, sit down, and you did sit down with your family, didn't you? Everyone, I remember sitting on the floor, legs folded, sort of legs crossed with my brother, and it was an event. Films at Christmas or whatever was an actual event in your house. So I do miss that. And I do miss that.
On a similar note as well, I miss sitting on a Sunday night with my little tape recorder and Radio 1 playing the charts with play and record and pause, waiting for your favorite song to come on and trying to time it.
To get the adverts.
Yeah, you try and time it so as not to get the DJ talking and release the pause button in time to collect to record your favorite song. And I think as well, I think as well, when you had the radio on and one of your favorite bands came on, it was like such a special moment. Quite exciting, really. Whereas, again, nowadays with all this music streaming and I was going to say iPods, but no longer iPods, but music on our phones, everything is just there. And it's no longer special, I don't think.
Yeah. It used to annoy me when I did that. Sorry, Bry. Sorry, go on, mate.
No, I was just going to say, back then you sort of jumped on everything. Oh, there it is. And then you wouldn't hear it for a while or you wouldn't see it for a while. And oh, there it is. And now you're like, I've seen it. It doesn't hold up that whole thing of it being special. You enjoy it and you just kind of get over it. But back then you were like, your eyes would light up or your ears would, does that make sense? Just, there's the song. And, unless you actually bought the thing, when it came on the radio, you were happy. And I did the same thing, Radio 1 on a Sunday night, so I could put it in my Walkman the next day. Boom, I'm happy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I used to get so upset if I was recording a song and the DJ used to come in and start talking about 30 seconds before the end of the song. Why are you doing that? All the time.
Yeah, but then things got really clever towards the end of the 80s where we began to get double-decked tape players. So you could then, what you could then do is you could then just record the entire chart rundown and then on another tape move your favorite songs onto the other tape so you had the perfect compilation. It was quite a process to go through. And do you remember with cassettes? If you had a cassette you bought, say it was a Duran Duran cassette, and you were no longer a fan of Duran Duran, you could put tape over the little notch.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then record over.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was.
I also remember having a recorder. I also remember having a recorder where you could tape cassette onto cassette, but you couldn't speak because it got your voice on there. It worked recorded. It recorded just, so you were sat in my bedroom, and if anyone came in, no. You got people opening doors and my mum shouting at me and And also, I remember what was also quite special about the chart countdown was obviously pre-internet. There was no way of knowing unless you bought Smash Hits magazine or Number One magazine. There was no way of knowing what was coming out that week. So you would listen to the charts. And suddenly you would hear a new single from your favorite band that you didn't know existed.
And it's like, oh my God, I love this. This is my favorite band. Here's a new song you didn't know about. Whereas nowadays, the bands are tweeting out their new music. Oh, you know, with a new song coming out tomorrow, come back here at midday to hear it type thing. Now, back then, everything was a surprise.
Yeah. I mean, I still.
That's it. Absolutely.
Sorry, Bry, go on.
No, I was just agreeing. Absolutely. It goes back to what I was saying. Your ears are so much more sensitive back then. Because like, oh, it's the new song, and now you're like, kind of, you'll hear it countless times. But then it was, just kind of repeating what I said. But exactly. Sorry, on you go.
No, it's true. It's like everything has become so. Everything is now so normalized. There's nothing really exciting happening anymore. Even as an example, going back to the show I think we've all enjoyed, which is The Mandalorian, we knew months, even years in advance that this show was coming. We knew what date it was going to come out on. There was all this hype built up to it. If it had been done old school style, it would have just been announced probably the day before, say, oh, by the way, here's a new Star Wars show. It's coming out tomorrow. It would have been such a bigger impact.
Yeah. Well, I remember The Mandalorian being announced, and I suppose this is just my own naivety, but I'm sure I remember it being announced, and it was due to drop on, I think it was November 11th. It must have been 2018 or whenever it was. November 11th, that was the date, though. I remember that. And I got all geared up, and then it hit November the 11th, and that's for America. In the UK, it's March. Like, what? So the day, I was waiting for a date that was, and I had to wait another 4 months. How has this passed me by? This is the American release date, but it had, and got all geared up, and then I had to wait another 4 months. But I didn't wait another 4 months. I may have got it elsewhere.
Of course,
perfectly legal.
Yeah, exactly. Well, what choice do you have? Because you would get the spoilers. So I mean, you actually had no choice.
Yeah,
there was no way you're going to avoid it, was there?
I subscribed as soon as it. As soon as Disney Plus hit here, like, subscribe, because it felt privileged. I felt that we should do that. But you were just in spoiler city if you didn't.
Yeah, you were never going to avoid it. No, there's no way once it's dropped. Yeah,
that's another very good point there. Spoilers nowadays.
No, exactly.
You have to watch something immediately, otherwise it's going to get ruined. Because, in actual fact, the finale of The Mandalorian got ruined for me because some idiot did a comment on my YouTube video who said, oh, by the way, Luke Skywalker saves Grogu type thing before I'd even seen it.
Oh.
And that was a Friday. That was a Friday because I'd done whatever YouTube video I did the day before, and I was checking my comments that morning. I said to myself, okay, I'm going to avoid social media until I watch The Mandalorian. So I thought I'll be okay. Just checking my YouTube comments, and this arsehole spoiled it for me before I even got a chance to watch it.
Yeah, it's one of those things, isn't it, where spoilers don't massively worry me because I'm very much of the mindset of the chances are I won't avoid it. At some point, I will see something or look at something or hear something, and I will find out. But it's when you feel it potentially has been done deliberately. I mean, sticking it in your YouTube comments, kind of seems like that's purposely done. But I get what you mean.
And it was for those very reasons. I wasn't planning on seeing The Rise of Skywalker the minute it came out, but I knew that if I didn't, I would be hit with spoilers.
Yeah.
So I had to force myself to go on opening night, which wasn't necessarily a good experience.
No.
But that's the thing about going back to when we were kids. There were so many surprises in life. Whether it be a new action figure appearing in the stores, your favorite band having a song on the radio.
That's a brilliant point, because you never knew. Well, especially being a kid, I don't know if you knew as an adult growing up in the 80s, but as a kid, you didn't know when the next figures were dropping. So you just go into, we were talking about going into the toy store, and you were like, oh, geez, like there's, it would be the next wave of Return of the Jedi figures. I remember it. And you were like, oh my word, I've never seen these. And you would have no knowledge, except maybe you might have got the pamphlet, maybe come through that gave you that. If you got a vehicle, I think with the pamphlet in it, when it came to Star Wars anyway.
Exactly.
It's like, wow, you were just so amazed, and now we know in advance, months in advance, when we get the figures.
But that's like a lot of things, isn't it? I mean, movies.
So the surprise again is taken away from here. But I guess it's more geared towards adult collectors anyway. So we want to know what we're getting. But back then, you were just like, oh yes, you were so surprised.
Yeah. Oh, it was fantastic.
Yeah. It's the same with movies, isn't it? Movies now, we know what movies are coming out almost at times years in advance.
Yeah.
Whereas back then you saw a trailer drop on TV, and that was the first you knew of it, and it was out at the cinemas in the next month. Whereas now we know years at times in advance what's coming.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was a kid, again going back to the things we miss, going to the video shop was an event. To go to the video shop and look through what you wanted to take, and I if we still had a local Blockbuster now, I would use it just purely for nostalgia.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, the video store was like a toy store.
Loved it. You walk in, you had big giant cardboard cutouts, and brilliant. Yeah, renting movies that you clearly weren't allowed to rent.
Yeah,
I still remember
everywhere. I used to collect the posters from the videos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. A lot of us did. Yeah, I remember that.
For me, one of my best ever surprises was I was watching the Wide Awake Club one Saturday morning, and they said, coming up after the break, we've got the new video from Duran Duran, and I'm like, holy crap! And it was the Wild Boys, and because I had, even though I was a huge fan of Duran Duran, I had no knowledge that they were about to release a new single. So when that came up on the Wide Awake Club, it was like such a thrill. Whereas nowadays, the band would have tweeted for the last 4 months, hey, we've got a new song coming, we've got a cool video coming, blah, blah, blah. Back then, it just hit you in the face out of nowhere. Fantastic. Yeah. It really was.
The Wide Awake Club, is that Timmy Mallet? Was that the Timmy Mallet show?
It was. Yeah,
Tony Boyd. Yeah.
The Wide Awake Club.
Yeah.
Michaela Strachan. Oh, yeah, those were the days.
Oh, wow.
Sorry, I'm just looking at bikers. Yeah, you still can get one bars, can't you? You still can get them.
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
Whistle Sweets. Oh, yeah, I remember those.
Yeah, I used to get them at the chemist.
Oh, Whistle Sweets. Right. I remember that.
Yeah. Was that called a Blow Pop? Or no? What's Blow Pop? Maybe I'm thinking of something else. Charlestown Chew.
That's a new one on me.
I've had them. It's definitely a North American thing. That's how I stumbled into the very first episode of The Simpsons. I didn't know it was going to be on. Yeah, exactly.
Was it first shown on the Tracy? I want to say Tracy Ullman show.
Ullman,
yeah.
Ah.
I think it was, yeah.
That's right.
Chocolate, chocolate cigarettes.
Yes, yeah.
I did a whole video on that.
Yeah,
how,
remember those.
In actual fact, we had chocolate cigarettes. Well, first of all, we had the candy stick cigarettes that were white with a red tip.
Yeah,
and then the red tip got banned.
Yeah.
But the chocolate cigarettes had the rice paper, and it even had the yellow filter printed on, plus confectioner's sugar you could blow to emulate smoke coming out the end of it.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, that's right. They'd never be allowed now, would they?
Oh no! So we had them. We had
absolutely not.
No, there was also pouches of candy tobacco that looked just like a pouch of tobacco. Then Walls did a series of cocktail flavored ice lollies that were alcohol flavors. And of course, the infamous Top Deck Shandy and all that stuff. So they were forcing smoking and drinking onto us as young, impressionable kids. Those were the days.
And you even got cider apple lollies, didn't you?
Yeah.
Thought you were drunk if you had one of them.
Yeah. Christmas films were a far bigger deal than it is today. Oh yeah, absolutely. Because they tended to be like.
Oh, definitely, and that's still why I still buy the Radio Times just to flick through it, because it's kind of that big deal that you used to do in the 80s, 90s was buy the Radio Times. Absolutely.
I remember I would get the Christmas Radio Times and look for what I wanted to see and then circle it in the highlighter pen.
Yeah.
Always good stuff on those.
That's right.
Yeah. Hey, Soundwave.
Hey, Roy.
Charleston Chew.
Yeah.
Charlestown Chew.
Charlestown Chew.
I never pirated any ZX Spectrum games.
Yes. That's a great point. I knew there was another reason for having the double deck.
Yeah.
ZX Spectrum game.
Yeah.
Never pirated one. Give over, Ted.
Oh yeah, remember that with the pencil?
You did. Yeah. Wind it back with a pencil. Yeah, if it chewed it.
Yeah. CDs were out in 1985. Yeah.
I can't remember the first CD I bought.
I remember mine was Anthrax, and it was the I'm the Man EP. We all did that, yeah. Our family bought Queen It's a Kind of Magic on CD, but we didn't get a CD for 2 years.
Yeah. I can't remember the first CD I bought.
Yeah, but CD, that was a big, big deal because it was supposedly indestructible, but it turned out that wasn't the case. But the sound quality, it was crystal clear. You could skip tracks without having to press. But it was a huge thing. I tried to record the audio from the Star Wars rental tape onto.
Yeah.
But I remember trying to record TV, and if you held the microphone too close, you would get a lot of humming and interference.
Feedback, yeah.
Yeah. I used to do the same with the ET soundtrack and Gremlins soundtrack. Yeah. The mixtape you sent to your bit on the side.
Don't know what you're talking about, Tim.
Yeah. Spoilt for choice now. Yeah. We all missed the time where everything was more special. Great to read these comments and listen to the guys having similar memories. Yeah, I think those of us of a similar age do have the exact same memories of these fantastic times.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
Yeah.
You don't want to say it out loud, but
yeah.
No.
Happy times. We are, it's true. We are getting old, unfortunately. But
we are.
Yeah. Completed the Mandalorian series before it came out in the UK. There's the guys that work.
There was a guy at work. I'll just say that. Yeah. I think we all know one of them guys, don't we?
Yeah. We were excited by film, TV music back then because most of it was original and groundbreaking, whereas today it leans on existing ideas. Yeah, very true. Yeah, in fact, because of that, most of the things that I've been...
There's also when you grow up as a generational thing. I mean, to use Star Wars as an example, people love the sequel trilogy. They've grown up with that.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's part of what you grew up with. There is a lot of that. It's nostalgia, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think because, as Dave says there, that everything leans on existing ideas, because of that, the shows that I've been enjoying the most are actually real-life crime dramas. Just began watching on Netflix The Serpent, which is quite interesting.
Right, I don't know that one.
I really did enjoy the Narcos series, which is also based on true events.
Oh, that was good.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed that.
I haven't really watched too many blockbuster movies of late, to be honest. There's nothing really appeals to me.
No,
well, TV is certainly a lot more original movies are.
Right. Yeah. Avatar sequel has been coming for about 10 years. No one cares.
Yeah, it has been coming a long time. Yeah.
I remember seeing the first one and not really being that impressed by it, to be honest. It was a bit slow for me.
It was something that at the time, everyone I knew was raving about it, and I can be a little bit stubborn at times because everyone was going crazy about it. I was the one to go, I'll watch it when I get time. I'm not really bothered about it. It doesn't bother me. And then I watched it, and I've got to admit, I did enjoy it. But I was very much, I'll watch it when I'm ready. Everybody, and I think by the end of it, I purposely waited for ages because all my friends were like, "You've got to watch it," and I was just enjoying keeping them waiting before we could talk about it. But
yeah. This is a great point. I couldn't name anyone in the top 40s nowadays.
No, I couldn't.
No.
I still, even now, listen to the music I grew up with. I don't listen to anything current. I've no idea what's in the top 40.
No.
I couldn't even tell you radio stations now, current radio stations. I listened to what I grew up listening to, which was tapes in my dad's car.
Yeah.
Which was things like Deep Purple and AC/DC and Motorhead and Iron Maiden and Marillion. What was the other one? God, I always forget their name. It'll come to me in a second. Breakfast in America, Supertramp.
Oh, right.
Bands like that.
I actually planned on doing a video. I planned recently to do a video comparing the top 10 today with the top 10 in the corresponding week of a year in the 80s. So I forced myself to listen to the current top 10, and it was so depressing. I thought, nah, I'm not doing this. It's just not worth it. It was absolutely horrendous, the stuff that's in the charts at the moment.
Right. I couldn't tell you what it is.
I'm kind of different on it. My daughter's 13, so I'm kind of more. And I still, to this day, listen to hip hop and rap music, so I kind of keep me out, although it's never as good as what it was, clearly. Yeah. But I still kind of listen to a lot of modern day music. But it was interesting. I know this is the 80s, but there was a thing on online. They do this thing where it's like what the top 10 was back in the 90s compared to today. And every tune, no matter what genre of music it was, you were kind of like, oh, I remember that. Like, I had a good time with that. And now, and there was a melody, good, you know what I mean? Good lyrics, more debatably. And now you listen to a top 10, and I would agree with that, top 10 this year, this week, and you'd be like, nah.
Yeah.
It's not the same at all. You know what I mean?
Horrendous. I think,
it's way more different genres. It's not as eclectic as an experience as it was back then.
No. Oh no. So, Avatar who?
Yeah.
I've not seen E.T. yet.
That was a Christmas film at one point, wasn't it? And Steven Spielberg cut out the bad words for the Queen, if I recall.
Right. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was a big. That was the BBC got it. I don't know. It might have been the late 80s. Maybe it might have been even the early 90s. Yeah. And Steven Spielberg purposely cut out because there's obviously penis breath and all that kind of stuff on it. And he cut it out in case the Queen was watching. There you go. There's a bit of trivia.
Right.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah. I did not know that. Yeah, that's interesting. I have to say, I'm sure the Queen was watching.
Yeah. I haven't seen E.T.
Well, I don't think she was either, but
no. I haven't seen E.T. since I saw it in the cinema back in '82. Because I remember crying so much, I didn't want to put myself through that again. I visit an antique shop quite often and buy them. Oh, nice.
Oh, wow, yeah.
That's very nice.
It was the first film I saw in the cinema.
I wish I had one.
Yeah, actually, it was my first film in the cinema also.
That was really?
Yeah.
82?
Again, I couldn't tell you what I saw first in the cinema.
It was 1982,
yeah.
Top of the Pops used to be an event.
Yeah. Agreed. Definitely.
Oh, fantastic. And that was one of the shows that you just had to watch because you knew the next day at school, everyone was talking about what they'd just seen the night before.
Exactly.
And for me, it must have been 1980, I think, late 80, when I first was aware of Adam and the Ants. And that was because of those spectacular music videos. That's when I got into Adam and the Ants, because I saw the video on Top of the Pops. And wonderful time. Incy Weenie Yellow Polka Dot Bikini. Oh, that was Kenny Mallett.
Timmy Mallet did that, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah. Stand and Deliver
Timmy
had him
Mallet.
in the ad video. Yeah.
Stand and Deliver. Yeah.
Just let's see. So yeah, this was. I think that was the Timmy Mallet single.
Yeah.
Double Dip Sherbet survived. Yeah.
Is it double dip or was it? What was the difference between double dip and dip dabs? Was there anything different?
Yeah, Dip Dab was one lolly in a packet of sherbet, whereas Double Dip was it was
two sides, didn't it?
One side was lemon, one was orange, and it came with that yellow stick.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I've got you now. I remember that. Yeah.
Actually, when I was back in Scotland 2 years back, I bought as many of the sweets I remembered as a kid and did a video on it. It's on my channel somewhere. And I'm quite happy to say that a lot of the sweets I remember from the 80s still are made today. Obviously, the packaging is a bit different, but for the most part, they all look and taste the same, which was quite nice to see.
Yeah, I bet, yeah.
CDs were too futuristic and expensive for us to... Oh, yeah, they were.
They were expensive, they were really expensive when they came out, weren't they? Yeah.
Remember the edible paper they had? You had this edible paper.
Yeah, rice paper, yeah.
I don't even know why we enjoyed it. I don't know what it was. It was like, do you remember it?
Yeah. Like sheets. It would melt on your tongue.
And it was sort of
I always remember thinking. I always remember thinking flying saucers were a bit like that.
Flying saucers, that's right, and have the sherbet in the middle.
I could never get on board with them.
Those still remind me of like styrofoam egg cartons. I can't, not a fan of those. I think Brothers in Arms was the first CD.
First CD,
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Brother in Arms, that Dire Straits.
Yeah.
Panini out. Yeah. Did you not do a video on sticker albums?
Yeah. I've still got a few of mine. Yeah. Didn't scribble over the Hibs page. Good lad. Yeah, I've got a sticker album from '79, I think, and there are scribbles over the Hearts players.
I don't remember too many sticker books.
Yeah.
I think I had Thundercat. I think I had the Thundercat sticker book.
No, I had there was E.T., Gremlins, I remember.
I had the Gremlins,
Yeah. We also, the girls had the Care Bear sticker album. I remember
they were a
friend
big
and I
deal,
actually we had a few of those stickers for some reason. I don't know why, but also I remember them being A-Team stickers, but I don't think I ever completed that album. It was basically anything that was big in pop culture had a sticker album. That Panini would put out.
So many times. I remember stickers. We had a corner shop on literally on the end of our street, and I remember stickers. A pack of stickers being 7 pence for a pack.
Yeah.
And they're like £1.50 or something now, aren't they? £2 or something. But 7p a pack. I remember.
I actually read an article today that said that to complete the current Panini football sticker album, because they don't allow kids to do swaps at the moment because of COVID, to complete the album is going to cost something like £700.
Wow.
I think they're saying one pack of stickers is 90p.
Yeah, well, I mean, I see more cards than stickers now. I don't know if that's just but I remember it was at one point it was everything. If you could get any money to go get, that was the first thing you thought of, stickers, if you had a sticker album going. And then you used to go to school with a great bundle with elastic band round and swap them with your friends.
You'd be going like got need got.
And this is the thing. I always remember thinking how impressive it was that we knew what we had and what we need. Even you got a great bundle, still it was in your head, wasn't it? You knew what you needed. You never had to refer. I never took my book to school. Never.
No, never.
I didn't have to refer to it. I knew what I need.
I always remember there being a few. In fact, this was back in the time when the football, I guess it was the English First Division and the Scottish Premier Division, there were no there were very few foreign players. And there was one team had a goalkeeper whose name I'll never forget, which was Chuck Nwai-Jobi. And And for that, to see someone with the name Jobby in their name was just hilarious for us in the playground. I also remember the foil badges were extremely valuable in terms of swaps.
Yeah.
It would take 2 or 3 normal stickers to get 1 foil sticker.
Yeah.
Because
that would be the team. It would be the club crest, wouldn't it? Be the team badge.
It usually was. Yeah.
Yeah. I just remember having loads and loads of Tony Cotty stickers. You couldn't give them away.
Tony Cotty.
Yeah. Although I do remember what I didn't like was that us Scotsmen we got the raw end of the stick, because all the English First Division teams got a full sticker for each player, but Scottish Premier League got 2 players to 1 sticker.
No, didn't they?
That's right,
I remember that.
Half size. The back of the boot.
Shoved at the back. Yeah. Do you folks remember seeing the Star Wars Holiday Special live on TV?
I never saw it live. No.
You know, I'm going to say something potentially controversial now. I've never seen it.
Oh no!
Even to this day, I've never seen the Holiday Special.
Join the club. Neither have I.
Never seen it.
Wow.
I thought that would get more of a gasp. I'm happy about that. I thought that would get more of a gasp from everybody.
The Boba Fett short is on Disney Plus at the moment.
Oh, okay.
Oh, really?
Need to look at.
No, I mean I can understand it. You can watch the Boba Fett Plus. It's on Disney Plus. Boba Fett. Mm-hmm. It's called Key's Journey or something. So that's when Boba Fett was first introduced, as you may know.
Yeah.
Right. I'll have to watch that.
They've got that as like an 8-minute short. I think that's the only thing of value. Although I did like the Cantina song they have on it. What's the name of the actress? A famous actress. She's the old barmaid in the Cantina and sings this, "Just one more round, my friend," that kind of stuff. And it's quite good. But the rest of it's absolute nonsense.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for somebody to jump into the comments now and kill me.
Yeah, no, well, it's like I said, I've not seen it either. I've had no desire to watch it either. And that's why I've often said that I often...
No, I know, you've just froze, so I'm like...
Oh, are you back? But I've often said that I often question myself, am I really a Star Wars fan, or am I more of a Star Wars toy fan? Because for me, all my memories of Star Wars are based around the toys as opposed to the actual movies.
Yeah, I think I would probably say my memories are more based around the movies, because I remember watching the movies. I mean, I remember playing with the toys, but I have more vivid memories of watching the movies as a child growing up. True. Yeah.
It might be because I saw them in the wrong sequence. So I saw Star Wars on a rented VHS tape. I then saw Return of the Jedi in the movie theater. And then I saw The Empire Strikes Back on broadcast TV. So
yeah, I didn't watch them in the right order. Just when the first ever Star Wars movie I watched was Return of the Jedi in around, I think it was 86.
Right.
I was just about to turn 7. My cousin, my cousin was a few years older than us, and he just got a video recorder and TV for his bedroom, and his mum and dad bought him Return of the Jedi, just come out on VHS, and bought him that as his to go with it. So we all sat in his bedroom and watched it 2 or 3 times on that day, and that was the first ever Star Wars movie I watched. So yeah.
I agree with you. The toys kind of came first before the films, definitely. I remember getting my mum C-3PO and R2-D2, and I was kind of infatuated by this golden droid and this little blue thing, and then the sort of collection just started from there. And I think it was either Star Wars or Empire. I think it was Star Wars that premiered on ITV, and I was obviously really young. I think it was 1982, and then Empire was on ITV the year after. And I was like you, I didn't see Jedi until 86. But it was the toys. The toys were really the big thing.
Yeah. And also as well, I didn't see Star Wars again until probably mid to late 90s.
Am I behind again?
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, don't get me wrong. I absolutely love those first 3 movies, but I'm just not as obsessive about them as I am the toys.
Yeah.
Which is why I've probably had no real desire to see the holiday special. And as I keep saying, I've still not seen the Clone Wars or the Rebels cartoons.
Yep, same.
Are you the same? Okay.
I've started Clone Wars, but I'm not even through season 1 yet.
Yeah.
So I think there's 7 or 8 seasons.
I've watched them all. They're good, really good.
They're really good. Okay. Yeah. See, here's the trouble I'm having is, as I get older, the amount of hours in the day is definitely getting less. I just have less and less time to do things. And I don't know when I'm going to have a chance to sit down and watch these entire seasons of cartoons.
Yeah, and that is the problem. I mean, I started Clone Wars about June last year, and I'm not even through season 1 yet. So by the time I get back to it, I've sort of got to watch it all again generally because I can't remember what's happened. But I do, and this might be maybe a bit of an extreme opinion, but I do occasionally think, am I a bit of a fraud because I've not seen these animated series, But and I have to constantly remind myself that my love for Star Wars is from the original trilogy. That's where my love came from. So the prequels are fine, the sequels are fine, but it's that connection, and it's the original 3 films that bring me to Star Wars. So as much as I would like, I want to watch the Clone Wars and I want to watch Rebels, it doesn't grab me. I still watch the original 3 films weekly, whether it's on in the background while I'm doing things at home or whatever, or whether I sit and watch them, because I still have desire to watch them to this day, even though I've watched them hundreds of times. I don't have that desire to watch the prequels, to watch the sequels, to watch the animated series, although I feel I will and should watch them. And I think that's maybe what it is. I just don't have that drag, to watch.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, but I do sometimes think to myself, should I watch? If I'm a Star Wars fan, should I watch these things? But have you seen Rogue One and Solo? Did you watch them? Yeah, I think Rogue One's fantastic, absolutely brilliant. I could take or leave Solo, but I think Rogue One is right up there. I think it's fantastic.
Oh, Rogue One, it's a movie. Yeah. Great movie.
The only thing
I really love Solo. Actually, I do. I think it's a really good movie.
Yeah.
My only complaint with Rogue One was it was a bit of a Titanic in that you know how it's going to end.
Yeah.
Which was the only downside to that movie because that kind of ruined it for me, because the whole time you're watching it and you're thinking, will she get the plans? Will she not get the plans? Well, we know she got the plans. So the tension of each scene wasn't what it could be because we knew how it was going to end, but nevertheless, still a great movie. Solo, I think I only saw Solo the once in the theater. And the sequels, I think I've seen The Force Awakens twice, The Rise of The Last Jedi once, and The Rise of Skywalker twice. And I've got no desire to really watch them again.
I think you've just summed up the sequels. I mean, I've watched Force Awakens quite a few times because I do enjoy the Force Awakens. I do like it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I loved it when it came out.
I've seen Last Jedi once. I don't really have any desire to watch it again. I've watched Rise of Skywalker twice. I went to the cinema twice. I do have it on Blu-ray, but it's still in the wrapper, and that probably tells you again how much. I'm not saying I don't like them. The Star Wars movies, I do enjoy them. But again, going back to the original trilogy conversation, they don't pull me into them. If I'm going to put on a Star Wars movie while I'm at home, it isn't going to be one of those. Every so often I'll put one on thinking, but I feel I should give them another go. But generally, my head goes to A New Hope, Empire, or Jedi straight away.
Yeah. I'm thinking maybe as an experiment, I might force myself to watch the sequel trilogy and then just give you my final analysis, because I've never actually watched them with a view to commenting on them. So whilst I can remember what happens generally in each movie, I don't remember all the little details and things that might be worth going over one more time. Yes. So Graham remembers seeing it live on TV. Wow. No, I've not.
Yes, I have.
And is it?
I enjoyed it. I liked it, and it's got mixed reviews, I believe, but I really enjoyed it.
Well,
really,
the funny thing is, I've only just gone back to watch the original cartoon for the first time since the mid-'80s, and I was able to watch season 1, and I was watching it completely fresh because I could not remember a single thing about the cartoon when I watched it as a kid. So I was able to enjoy it as if it were the first time. So I'm going to continue watching those or the remaining seasons in the movie, and then maybe I'll check out this one on Netflix.
Yeah, no, it is good. I really enjoyed it. I think a few people felt it was a bit slow. I thought it was a good pace, personally.
So this is, what do you think about the Clone Wars? I think the show and the toy line is great, but not as good as the OT.
Yeah, again, I mean, I've only watched part of season 1, so I don't really feel I can weigh in properly on that.
Yeah.
But I'm enjoying what I've seen, but struggling to get back to it.
So, Bry, do you recommend that we should watch the Clone Wars?
I think you need to get past. Say that again, sorry?
Do you think that we should take the time to actually sit down and watch the Clone Wars series?
I lost you. I keep losing you. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now, yeah.
Okay. So as someone who's enjoyed it, do you think that Luke and I should take the time to watch the Clone Wars?
I think with the Clone Wars and Rebels, they're almost act the same way. You have to get past the first season or two, and then it starts to get darker. It becomes more adult.
Yeah, I have heard that actually.
Yeah, when you watch them initially, it's especially like Ahsoka's like a real case in point. She's just not a likable character to begin with, and then she develops as it goes on. And it's more like the people might disagree with that, but it becomes, especially the last few seasons, the Clone Wars, like the last. Just there on Disney Plus, it was phenomenal. There's so much good Star Wars content in it. I mean, you get characters that we know and love coming into it. Rebels started off a bit ropily, but you were kind of invested in a bit more because it was set around the original trilogy. But towards the end of that, it was a really good show. Like, it was really, really good. It's well worth your time. You just have to get into it. That's the tough part of it. So many episodes to watch.
I think that's the one thing I remember thinking, that there will be a lot of character background and things like that in these animated series. I mean, obviously, we saw Ahsoka Tano in Mandalorian. Now I know who that character is, but I didn't know a huge deal about her background and her backstory. Very much the same as Bo-Katan. I know who the character is, don't really know a lot about her. So when everyone was going crazy on Mandalorian about these characters coming in, I was kind of going, I know them, but I don't know a huge amount else. So
that was the exact same. Yeah. Music and football is the same for me nowadays. Can't name any songs. Can barely name any players from my favorite teams. Yeah. I
can see that.
It's funny how we slag off modern music. It's what our granddad said to us about modern music in the 80s. Yeah. Probably true. Yeah. Oh, AC/DC and Zeppelin. Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't get that, but that's fine. As long as you didn't ask me a question. It just broke up completely.
All right. Now he's gone.
Oh.
Yeah, his connection wasn't too hot there.
No, I struggled a bit.
Seems strange that when we are pensioners, we'll be reminiscing about the Prodigy and the Orb.
Quite possible.
Oh, golf ball gumballs. Yep. Remember those. Having a 14-year-old sister in the 80s was a fantastic way of getting into music. Adam and the Ants, the Human League, and Duran Duran. Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
All great bands. Grand caused... and
friends. Yeah, they were. Yeah.
Okay. All right, Bry, you hear us okay?
Sorry, I don't know what's going on. My Wi-Fi's on. I don't know, because we're in different parts of the world. I don't know.
Oh, I don't know. It does seem as if you're frozen again there.
Yeah, it does seem it's struggling.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still a bit. I'm still a bit behind. So I'll just try and keep up.
Okay.
I think you two guys are fine, though, aren't you? It's just me.
Yeah.
Come out of that basement you look like you're in.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Fisherman's Friends. You remember those?
No, I'm on the ground floor. Like, this is. It looks seedy. Right. It actually is.
The soundproofing. All the soundproofing.
Yeah. Company here, so I have to go. All right. Well, thank you for watching.
Yeah. Good to see you.
He-Man Panini stickers. Yeah. Vaguely remember those. I hated how Panini albums doubled up players on one sticker for Scottish teams.
There you go, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So unfair. One of the first CDs we had in our house was T'Pau. To this day, I still can't stand China in Your Hand.
Yeah, it is one of those songs. Once you've heard it, I think one of the, from my childhood, one of the songs, and I think it's because my mum played it over and over again. One of the songs I now listen to and think, God, I can't stand that song, was Berlin, Take My Breath Away.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. If I hear that one more time, it's too much. Yeah.
Oh. I can still remember the names of players from the 80s because of those Panini albums, even the smaller teams. Oh, yeah, definitely. Because like we said, for whatever reason, Panini taught us amazing memory retention that, like you said earlier, Luke, we never took our albums to school, but we knew exactly what players we were missing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. I keep quite a few Star Wars trading cards in my school blazer pocket. Nice.
Excellent. Like it.
Yeah.
Like it.
Come on, Dean. That's not a legit surname, really. Oh, no.
You talk about the football player.
Yeah, Chuck Nwai Jobby. I'm going to, after this, I'm going to look it up.
Google him.
Yeah, it was just, for us, it was just such a funny name. You don't forget names like that.
Oh, yeah, humor.
You would never swap a double.
No.
Star Wars Holiday Special was only broadcast in the USA and Canada, right? I thought so. I've had the Star Wars Holiday Special on bootleg DVD for 15 years. Still can't get all the way through it. Absolute bobbins.
That might be one of the reasons why I've not watched it.
Yeah. Bea Arthur from Golden Girls. That was the barmaid in the Holiday Special.
Right.
I used to use the Rangers and Celtic stickers to wrap my used chewing gum in and disregard it. I was a responsible lad. Well, he's moved. So Bry is now back in a different location.
Location. Bry? Let's see if this works. I mean, I wasn't far from the Wi-Fi anyway, but I don't know if it's me. The lighting
seems better initially.
Yeah. Okay.
Seems a better connection.
Yeah.
It does, only. I was literally only a meter away from where, but anyway.
Right. I remember seeing Return of the Ewok. I don't know what that is. No idea.
I'll Google that.
Yeah. I was definitely a Star Wars toy fan as a kid. Only seen the films once in a blue moon when they were on TV and in the late 80s. And yeah, very much like myself. My first was The New Hope in a drive-in. Wow. That's
nice one.
Very
That'd
nice.
Have been great.
Yeah. The Never-Ending Story.
Never-Ending Story, yeah. Yeah, I remember that.
I don't believe I've seen the movie, but I have got the song from the Mal stuck in my head.
Right, I think I've seen it once. That's the one with the flying dog. I was thinking it was like flying dog or something. Is that right? Is that the one?
Yeah, big fluffy flying dog thing.
Yeah.
In Rogue One, it's how she gets the plans that holds all the pearl. And well done, Disney, for killing all the characters off. Clean slate. Yeah. That's one thing I will say. That okay, the ending of the film we all knew in advance. Yes, they get the plans, but having those characters killed off was a pretty shocking ending to it, which was, as Tess says, they're well done for Disney for doing that, because that was quite a shocking end to what could have been a rather boring ending to the movie. Rogue One was the closest to the original sequel atmosphere-wise of the recent releases. Yeah, true.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Yeah.
But of course, Mandalorian has now gone and captured that title.
Yeah. It's a good show. Really good show. I'm enjoying it.
There's a feeling of a gritty war film, the very real and brutal side of the rebellion. Yeah, very true.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. The Secret of Nim was such a great film.
With that in mind, are you looking forward to Andor? Cassian Andor?
Not particularly.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I mean, I suppose it's not a character that would massively catch me. Yeah, I mean, I will watch it and I'm sure I'll enjoy it. But obviously, I'm more excited about things like Obi-Wan, Kenobi, and
I think you'll see a lot
only because the characters I resonate more with.
Yeah, and you'll see a lot of crossover characters with that. Mon Mothma, Nest might make a return as well in Andor. I think it'd be interesting, And
I think, and I think again maybe the Kenobi. Even then, I don't spend a huge amount of time watching the prequels. I do feel that one of the good things about the prequels was I think Ewan McGregor did a good job of Kenobi.
Yeah, everyone says.
I think he did do a good job of that.
Yeah, definitely. I still have the very first Return of the Jedi UK release on Laserdisc.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah. Did you guys watch pro wrestling back in the 80s? No, for simple reason.
I can't stand it now.
Yeah, well, actually, when you say pro wrestling, the only wrestling I saw was on a Saturday at lunchtime on ITV.
Big Daddy.
Big Daddy and all them.
Big Daddy and Giant Haystack don't count, Dean.
I just remember there was one Irish guy, dark hair and a mullet, and he wore green and white shamrock tights. I don't remember his name, but that's my only memory of wrestling back in the 80s. I don't remember being a massive fan of wrestling. Yeah, I do remember watching a bit of it.
Yeah, strange. I do. Yeah.
Now, do you guys remember a show? It was on a Saturday afternoon, probably ITV, and it was like a live broadcast of a games room, and there would be people playing tiddlywinks, people playing drafts and checkers, cards. It was the weirdest.
I can't say I remember that, Dean.
Oh man, I'm trying to think. Did I imagine it then?
Did you bring that?
No, it was like a smoke-filled room with people at tables playing various mundane board games and whatnot, and it was classed as a sports program for some reason. I'm sure that happened. I don't know.
Sounds like you just sat in the corner of a working man's club somewhere.
I know, right? Hopefully, someone will remember this. Because I'm positive I saw that.
I'm sure it will have been somewhere, but I don't recall it.
Yeah. Steve Strange from Visage. I remember Visage. That was like back in the New Romantic era. That must have been very early 80s. Watched the Clone Wars with my lad. I don't think I would have otherwise. Yeah. See, that's the thing. I'm not an elitist against cartoons, but I just had this feeling that it was a kids program that wouldn't really appeal to me, which is why I've never given it a chance.
Yeah, no, I think it is. I think it does appeal. I think it is aimed at all ages, and what I've watched, it doesn't strike me as something. I mean, kids can watch it, but it doesn't strike me as something aimed at children.
Okay.
I'm just struggling to get back to it purely time wise.
Yeah,
and as well, if I do get time to watch something, often I'll pick something else to watch. Not that. I don't want to watch it, but there's usually something else I would prefer to put on.
It took me a while to get round to it, and I eventually was like that, just getting over that hurdle, and then okay, and then you get sort of hooked on it a little bit.
But I've heard if you get through the first couple of seasons, it gets really good. So it's maybe
exactly
getting into the
that's how it works.
But I think another problem I'm having is that there are so many great YouTube channels doing similar things to me that I like to watch. And I could spend an entire evening catching up on those alone. Therefore, I've there's no time to watch a whole new season of something. There's not enough hours in the day.
There is always a YouTube video to watch in there.
Yeah. So the Top Gun theme.
I listened to it a lot as a child.
Yeah.
Not by choice.
Classic.
That, there was another one actually. That and God, was it Jennifer Rush? The Power of Love.
Power of Love. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
My
the funny thing though, see that song? It's interesting that there were actually 3 different artists had 3 different songs called "The Power of Love." There was Jennifer Rush, there was Frankie Goes to Hollywood, and Huey Lewis and the News. All had the song.
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah.
Same title. Yeah.
Right. I'd never put that together.
Yeah. I didn't have a train set. I
didn't have a train set.
I had a wind-up train that didn't require a track, but I never had a train set.
Yeah, I was never into trains.
I did. I had it was the token, circular track with a Hornby, a couple of Hornby trains to go around it. It didn't really fascinate me too much, though.
No. You should listen to Billy Connolly if you want some good jobby jokes. Oh, absolutely. To this day, I can still listen to Billy Connolly telling the story about the bathroom on the train, and it still cracks me up. I must have heard it a million times, but it's just the funniest thing ever. Now, look, is jobby a Scottish word, or did the English also use the word jobby?
Well, it is used. I can't say it's used often.
Right.
If we're going to refer to that function, it's generally not the word jobby.
Right.
But however, strangely, me and my brother do use that word a lot because we love the young ones, and we reference Vivian saying "big jobs" a lot in that show. So whilst it's not regularly used down this way, me and my brother personally do use it quite a lot as a young one's reference. So yeah.
Oh, Danger Zone in Berlin.
Danger Zone. Yeah, I like Danger Zone. I could listen to that. But that Berlin song.
Take my breath away.
Yeah.
I can't. If I ever hear it, it screams my childhood back and my mum.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I really miss all the huge Kenner Star Wars display. Oh those were fantastic.
We touched on John Mains's, just before we went on air, and there was sometimes you'd walk downstairs, we'd get the elevator downstairs, and they would just have these amazing displays. I remember this dome. I mean, it was probably a lot bigger because I was a kid, but you just go to this little dome, and they had a Hoth scene all done with the fake snow and the attack. Yeah. Dozens of troopers, and then on the other side they had an Ewok set with the play set, the village. Yeah, it's amazing, and you'd be fascinated by. I wish I could create that, as a kid. Yeah, just amazing.
I just still remember about John Menzies, just the sheer size of that wall. Covered in figures. It was just never ending. It was.
It's fascinating when you're a kid. You just start, watching it. Just looking at all the different. Oh, it was great. Yeah.
And I think the best part was whoever put the displays, or I should say, put the figures on pegs, just put them on randomly, so you were forced to flick through them all to try and see what there was, as opposed to just a whole rack of Luke Skywalker. It was like Luke Skywalker, Ugnaught, Chewbacca.
My grandparents used to go crazy about that because we would always grab a figure. You'd have one figure in your hand and you would have to sift through every figure, because if you've grabbed, I don't know, a Lando Skiff, and then there was a Luke Bespin at the back of a peg and you missed it, you had to sift through every character. Oh, they used to go crazy. We were there for an hour easy.
I also remember just the boxes of playsets and vehicles being stacked up. They have like 4 or 5 Millennium Falcons at any given time. It's
I know you never. You'd struggle for figures. No, you'd maybe struggle to find a figure, but there was always seems to be the vehicles. The vehicles were always
Yeah.
I was just going to say, I don't know how much YouTube you watch, Brian. I'm sure you watch a bit, but did you guys see? I think the lads were throwing it around a few weeks ago. There was a video jumped up on YouTube of an old store.
Toys R Us and that was
right. And I couldn't believe it. I mean, just when you're watching the amount of stuff there, just racks and racks of it. Oh God, just
amazing.
I mean, I guess that's probably one of the major or the biggest things that I miss about the 80s was that ability to walk into these stores and see pretty much everything that was out at that given time was there on pegs to be bought.
And lots of it as well.
Lots of it, yeah. There was never a shortage, put it that way. And I was discussing with Bry prior to you joining us, Luke, that even my little village in Scotland had 2 places that sold Star Wars figures.
Yeah.
They were everywhere, and tons of them.
That's the thing, isn't it? And I think by the time they were sort of going out in obviously 85 and afterwards, you then found them everywhere. I remember finding Star Wars figures in a dump bin in a pharmacy because we were just seeing them everywhere in dump bins and offer like special whatever you want, juiced items.
I think I've said this before, but my local RS McCall's, I remember seeing the last 17, but they were tri-logos with the big 50 pence or 49 pence sticker on them. But by that point in time,
if you go onto eBay now, sorry, Dean.
I was going to say, by that point in time, I was no longer into Star Wars, so I didn't give them a second look, which was unfortunate.
Well, if hindsight's wonderful, isn't it? But I mean, how many times do you go on eBay now and you can find Biker speeder bikes in their boxes with a 99p sticker on? You can't. Even now, you sort of look and you think, really? Even then, 99p? But
I know. Oh, incredible.
What will we think?
Yeah. There really should be figures of Big Daddy and giant haystacks.
Yeah.
No, what? Now let me see if my brain's working. Didn't Big Daddy have a girl's name in real life?
He did.
Shirley. Shirley
Yes.
Crabtree.
I think it was. Yeah, I think it was Shirley.
Oh, I remember Crabtree. I can't remember the Shirley.
I'm sure you're right there.
I think, Falcor was the flying dog's name. That was the never-ending story.
Right, never-ending story. Right, I would never have got that.
No, that's a lot of plastic, Dave. Oh, for Big Daddy, of course. They could be mask scale, yeah. Monster in my pocket size. Out of all the 80s cartoons, which one do you think had the best theme song? I would go with
Without 100%. That's correct. That statement.
Yeah,
100%.
I can't remember Mask. I remember
the
tune. I can't remember the tune.
It's just classic 80s.
The intro to it, where it's just going into Boulder Hill with the sort of grid effects on the screen.
Yeah.
That intro bit just alone makes me go cold. It is 100%.
I remember Cities of Gold. Do you remember that one?
I do remember that. Yeah.
I remember that tune for some reason. That was quite catchy.
Yeah. But I mean, like things like Transformers is a great theme tune, but without doubt, Mask 100% is the best.
I'll need to revisit that.
Brilliant, love it.
Oh yeah,
absolutely,
it really is. It's probably if aliens were to land and they said to us, "Show us what the 80s is all about," you would just put on that intro. Because
it's brilliant.
It's the visuals and it's the music. It's just as 80s as it gets.
Oh, brilliant!
It is what I would have picked straight away.
I love Visage.
Fate to Grey is a good song.
Oh yeah,
it's a good song.
In the Clone Wars, when Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Maul have their final battle, it's absolutely mind-blowingly fantastic.
I keep hearing about this, but again, I've nowhere near seen it, I don't think.
And again, this is where my lack of knowledge comes into play, because I was under the impression that Darth Maul was gone as of the Phantom Menace. So clearly he comes back then.
Yeah, I mean, he pops up in Solo.
Oh, of course, yeah.
But that's obviously, pre-death. So the time it's a bit, if you're not too clued up in it, it gets a bit messy, and then you wonder what they do in the new Obi-Wan show. Yeah.
Remember when Relax was banned from? Yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember that very well. although, having said that, I have in recent years gone back to watch the video, and that, even by today's standards, is somewhat risky. The song itself, I think, now don't quote me on this, but I think it was possibly a misunderstanding that got the song banned, to do with Mike Reed having a copy of the 7-inch single, and he was disgusted by the artwork on the cover. And it was for that reason he banned it, as opposed to the actual content of the song. But I could be wrong. But
I remember it. I remember it happening. I don't remember much else about it.
Oh, When You Want to Come, yeah. Well, I guess, yeah. But Tez, you spelt "come" wrongly there. Same here, my Star Wars memories are definitely from the toys and not the movies. Yeah. So I'm not alone in that. It's good to know.
No.
I remember getting our first Atari 2600. Ping blew us away back then. Everything changed. Yeah. Games and
I remember Atari 2600. I think we played Millipede. I think was it Millipede?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Just such as. But then again, things like Pong were so simplistic, but so much fun back then.
Well, you had the Pele's Soccer, which was basically, it was not far off Pong, to be fair.
Yeah. But back then, it was advanced enough to keep us entertained, you know?
Yeah.
Same as you, dude. Atari 26. Then the good old ZX Spectrum 48.
The ZX Spectrum.
The rubber keys.
Oh, Thundercats theme.
Yeah, Thundercats was a good theme, but it wouldn't come top for me. But it is a good theme.
It is.
It wouldn't knock Mask off top spot though.
Yeah, that's six.
But that is a good theme though.
Thundercat really rocked.
Raccoons. That's genius.
Yeah, I remember raccoons.
Yeah. Although I'm still quite partial to the theme from Super Gran.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
I
struggled with raccoons because of the stupid nose thing.
Yeah.
I struggled with that. What was the nose thing all about? Like, was it Cyril's smear or something?
Yeah, right weird.
Yeah, I don't know what the noses were. It used to freak me out.
Yeah. We love the 80s. Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Relax, don't do it. Pick your nose and chew it.
Yeah, that was these school days.
Yeah. Dave has to represent the Commodore 64 crew.
Yeah. Can't have Spectrum say that.
I never had a Commodore. Never part of that.
I had both. Yeah. We got a Commodore 64 purely for Sensible Soccer, I think it was. Me and my brother played Sensible Soccer all the time. I'm sure we had that on Commodore 64. It might have been Amiga. I'm not sure.
In fact, I remember the year. It would have been 83. And for the entire year, I'd said for Christmas, I want Star Wars toys. And as we got closer and closer to Christmas, I then changed my mind and said, no, I want a home computer. And my mum says, well, too bad, you're getting Star Wars. So as a result of that, I never actually had a home computer growing up. I don't think I missed out on too much because
like that. No, I don't think so.
Also, as bearing in mind as well, I was one of those kids that if it wasn't raining, I was outside.
Oh no, that's what you did. Summers were actually summer. It was always warm. You know what I mean? So you were out. You were always out and about.
I think there's you've said that. I think there's another difference because the majority of the time we were out and about. But if we were playing on whatever games console we had then, whether it was a Master System or when we were getting a bit older, we had like Mega Drive and things like that.
Yeah.
Even then, you played those games and within an hour they were done.
Mm-hmm.
So then you went outside. Whereas now you can play, and they're infinite, aren't they? Some games, and you're on your headset talking to your mate in America or whatever, and they're infinite. Whereas when we were kids, generally you bought a game, you played it, you did it in an hour, and you went out to play. Then I've done it. Unless it was Altered Beast, then I could never complete that.
I remember. Now you mention that. Look, I remember a friend of mine had the ZX Spectrum, and school, I think, finished something like, was it 3:30 in the afternoon or something?
So, mine did. 3:25, I think I finished school.
So say from 3:30, I would go home, get changed, get on my bike, go to my friend's house, play some Jet Set Willy, play some BMX outdoors.
Yeah.
All before 5:30. So within a couple of hours, I was playing a video game, I was playing BMX, I'd go cycle back home. So you're right, video games were basically play it for a little bit and then go outside and continue playing. It wasn't this sitting for hours on end, just.
And there was none of this in-purchase content or whatever. You know, you've got to buy things once you're in the game. And none of that.
Yeah, that was it.
So Tez is saying, "Come on, Dave. Spectrum is 100% British. This means war."
I think there's a fight in the chat.
Yeah, I actually watched on YouTube a show recently talking about the 80s, but it was a weird show. It was called The Grumpy Guide to the 80s. It was broadcast maybe a decade or so back, and it was just talking heads talking about how much things annoyed them in the 80s. And if you remember, the Sinclair C5 car came up as being the most ridiculous invention ever. Did you ever see one out in real life?
I never saw one, no. Never saw one. I saw the one on the TV when they were showing this guy using it in central London or something.
Yeah.
When they were trying to sell it, I'm sure they did something in Edinburgh for it. I'm sure I saw that. Right. But when it came to actual reality, there was no one buying any of those things. No.
I never saw. Us Northern monkeys would never see anything like that.
No.
It was all down south.
Yeah. I mean, that's basically it was an absolute death trap.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I can imagine, yeah.
Yeah.
You wouldn't fancy being on the road in one, would you?
No. But do you remember seeing the three-wheeled, was it Robin Reliant cars when you were growing up?
I do remember seeing a couple of them, yeah.
Yeah,
we did have a few of them in the town, yeah.
Now, also, bizarrely, I remember quite distinctly watching a live football game on TV, and there'd be four of them lined up behind the goals. Do you remember that?
Four three-wheeled cars lined up behind the goal.
Yeah, there'd be like 4 or 5 of them. I'm going to have to research this and post it on Twitter if I find it, because I'm convinced that I remember seeing live football on TV and there being a number of these cars lined up behind the goals on every game I watched. It wasn't just a one-off. This was like every.
Right. Do you watch Hibs a lot, Steve? was this
no,
Scottish thing, maybe?
This was like English. This was like FA Cup finals and things.
Really?
Yeah.
I'd love to see if that's right. I've no reason to believe it's not, but if that's true, I'll have to Google that.
I'm going to take note of that. So I've got to research the Chewy bar.
Yeah.
Chuck Noai Jobby, the goalkeeper, and three-wheeled cars.
that is, I think that is a research list I never thought I would hear in my lifetime.
So Chewy bars, Chuck Noai Jobby, and three-wheeled cars.
Brilliant. That's a brilliant research.
On all things 80s. Wow. What you got? Greatest theme tune of the 80s, Monkey Magic. Yeah.
Again, it wouldn't be up there for me, but I get it though. I get it. I get it though. Yeah.
Let's see. I've still got my original 7-inch Super Grand single.
Scunner Campbell.
With Scunner Campbell.
Brilliant.
When Two Tribes Go to War. That's another one of Frankie Goes to Hollywood songs that the video got banned from, and I remember that. You could even get Super Grand yogurts, which was really odd.
Super Grand yogurts? Wow.
Here's another one that's going to raise some eyebrows. Do you remember getting apple-flavored milk in a styrofoam carton with Kenny Dalglish on the side of it?
That is extremely specific, Dean.
Yeah. No?
Again, no, I don't remember that
Okay.
one. Apple flavored milk with Kenny Dalglish up the side. Okay.
That one, that's on the list.
That's on the list. This is a cracking research list.
It was a white carton with blue ink with the name of the dairy and a drawing of Kenny Dalglish on the side of it.
No.
Oh, hopefully someone's going to mention they remember it too, because otherwise I'm going crazy. Posh kid up the road to the Stinkler C5. Nobody liked him. Wow. So at least we know they did. So they did exist then. That's no MOT and no
MOT and no tax on a C5. Right. Yeah.
Stinkler C5 kid grew up to be a Conservative MP.
Yeah.
I remember a yellow three-wheeler van and a dodgy geezer in a sheepskin jacket, always trying to sell cheap tab.
Yeah, I remember that. I'm sure I remember him. Yeah.
What do you think was the best action movie, or who were the best action movies?
I mean, for me, my favorite action movie of that era was First Blood. I think it's a fantastic movie.
Schwarzenegger for me, I loved Commando, I loved Rodeo, and then obviously he became Terminator. Then it became, I think Red Heat was 89, and then 90 was Total Recall. But Schwarzenegger for me. But I loved Stallone too. I remember Seagal. I loved the early Seagal films.
I think early Seagal. I enjoy early Seagal. I think when he was a bit later on and got a tad big and a bit self-righteous. They've got to like him at that point. But you ask him about any other Hollywood action star or martial arts star, and apparently they were all frauds, weren't they? But never had a good word to say about anybody, and he beat them all in a fight.
So Top Gear did an episode on three-wheelers. Clarkson kept toppling his over. Wow.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I remember Dan bars as in Desperate Dan from the Dandy. It was orange and with black carpets.
I remember that.
When it's orange and black, that does ring a bell. Yeah, I remember that now.
Vaguely, yeah. And then Robin Reliant. But always fun, pushed over when you had a few ales.
Tipping cows. The modern equivalent.
Like that. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but now, do you remember seeing? I think it might have been. Was it the Austin? What was the car manufacturer? Was it Austin or
Allegra?
No, I'm remembering cars that had wooden panels on the side. Was it Morris Minor, possibly?
Maestro?
Morris, maybe.
Yeah. Did Mini Clubman's have wood paneling or something? Like probably. An old Mini Clubman or something? I don't know.
I just remember thinking,
I can't think of cars with wood paneling without thinking of the station wagon from the Griswolds. I can't think of a car with wood paneling without thinking of that pea green sort of station wagon.
Yeah, but do your memories go back far enough to remember that the television was actually a piece of furniture made of wood with wooden legs?
I remember the first TV me and my brother were ever allowed in our bedroom had 4 huge wooden legs, and then a huge wooden surround. And the turn-on switch was a knob that you had to twist and pull out, and you had to wait about 10 minutes for it to warm up and a picture to appear. That was our first TV in our bedroom. So I think that would probably fall into that category. Yeah,
it was the same with the hi-fi systems. They were made of wood, probably obviously in the 70s, but carried over into the early 80s. And it was
I don't remember. I don't remember what TV I had. I remember my mum used to rent a TV.
That's right. Yeah,
used to rent. The TV, so you'd get the best TV, like obviously, not a bad price every week. Or if it was, I think it was every week you would pay your TV rent.
Pound or something, a pound or two.
Yeah, mad.
Yeah, I remember that. You're showing your true colors now. Morris Minor and Morris Minis.
Yeah, Morris Minors and Minis. Yeah,
and Morris Minor.
Yeah, Dave the car man. Dave knows his cars.
Yeah, I just remember, like you said, there were horrible colors of cars, but with the wood paneling going around the side. Yeah, I need to look those up as well.
I remember growing up. I remember my dad. He had a few cars when we were growing up, and I remember he had it was like I always think it was like a snot green or whatever, but he had an Austin Allegro, and it got nicknamed the Austin All Aggro because it was never ever out of the garage. It was a terrible car. It was a terrible car.
Yeah. Now the Badger has made a rather humorous comment here. I'm thinking now that they were blue that I remember being behind the goals at the FA Cup final, and it must have been to allow disabled people in to watch the game.
Cripple car.
Yeah, it might not be PC, that comment.
No.
Well, you could have an entire discussion about what was PC in the 80s.
Hey, Paul.
Furniture TVs, that's right. A Ford. I always remember the Ford Capri was the cool model back then.
Is that the gear?
Yeah, Ford Capri, it was kind of like the stylish. Yeah.
Had the long
had like a bonnet on forever.
Yeah.
And there was a guy who, just at the road from us. He had a bright orange one with a black vinyl roof. We thought it was the coolest car on the street. Yeah.
Oh yeah, remember the vinyl roofs?
Better than my dad's Allegro.
Oh, Burr Walnut Dash, obviously a nasty veneer. Oh yeah, like wood was everywhere back then.
Yeah.
And when the large TV went out, you put on a smaller one on top.
Yeah.
I seem to remember one of my grandparents' houses. They would use an old coat hanger to fashion an aerial.
Yeah, an aerial.
To pick up TV.
Yeah.
Wow.
You had to stand there, didn't you, and move it around? But there. Yeah. Right, hold it there. Yeah.
In fact, it wasn't actually a dial that was used for each channel, and you had to put a marker. There was like a colored marker around the dial. You could save the spot for where each channel was.
I think.
Yeah, no, you would. You would.
Yeah, you're probably right. I don't remember that. I think you are right, but I did have buttons by that point. But there were big push-in buttons that when you pushed them in, they stayed in, and the other one popped out.
Right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was no remote controls back then.
If you moved that aerial, or if you moved the TV slightly to left or right, you were done. You'd have to.
Or if you got up and went to the kitchen, because sometimes it was based on where you had stood. Somebody in our front room got up and went to make a cup of tea, the TV would go off.
Yeah.
Out of the way.
Yeah. Then, I remember the vacuum would cause interference on the TV picture.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, then we got hangers wrapped in tin foil. Yeah. Classic. Hey up, Paul. And then we got Skoda cars were an embarrassment in the 80s.
Yeah. I think they're cats now, aren't they?
Am I right in saying that nowadays Skoda are making pretty decent cars?
Yeah. I think they're owned by Volkswagen, aren't they now? Is it VW on them? Yeah, I think they make good. I think when I was a kid, but Skodas were. If your parents had a Skoda, you got it big, and if they had a Lada, you got it big as well.
Yeah. The real stigma.
Yeah. I just remember it. I remember it when I was at school, in primary school. A friend of mine, his dad had a brown Lada, which was just the ultimate. No.
So if it isn't bad enough, you get a Lada.
Yeah. What was the other car I was going to say? Yeah, Lada. What's
up? Okay. As a student, we had two TVs stacked up on each other.
Yeah.
The bottom one had that picture but no sound. The top one had sound and no picture.
Brilliant. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. Although I do remember with not having remote control TV, I was always asked to get up to change the channel for my parents.
Yeah, you got that.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, my household skipped from having no remote control to having a proper remote control, whereas there were TVs that had a wired remote control. I never had one of those.
I remember having a stereo with a wired remote control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm just going to get my charger because I've had to move this Mac.
Yeah.
I also remember my parents having a big... Oh, sorry, Dean.
No, go ahead, please.
I was just going to say, I remember my parents having a big, like, what you would call video library, but they had VHS tapes with the cases that looked like books when you stack them. And the amount of times when you could get something to record, and it would have my mum's writing on the front, "Do not tape over." Soldier, or something like that.
Right.
Like,
yeah. A 71 Volks Squareback. All the new wave kids drove those. I don't
71 Volks Squareback. No, I can't picture that.
No.
I'll Google that afterwards, Paul.
Yeah. I have a sore throat, Paul, due to my fantastic singing today.
Please tell me you saw that from Tez.
Oh, I did.
The live stream. Oh, brilliant.
Oh,
absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. The 80s were the decade of the hot hatch. Yeah. I remember the Fiesta XR2 was the boy racer car.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Did they have an Escort XR3i or something after that?
Yeah.
Was the Escort 90s or was that late 80s?
Yeah, it may well have been 90s. I'm not up on.
No.
I don't know.
No, I think I remember there was Fiesta XR2 and then there was XR2i. So I think XR2 would have been late 80s.
Right.
Yeah. There was so many, but again, back in that era, I remember this was obviously not the 80s, but I just learnt to drive. So I'm going back sort of just over 20 years. And my first ever car was a Rover Metro.
Mm-hmm.
And the garage that I got it from, it developed some sort of fault, and I was able to take it back to the garage that I got it from, and they would repair it. Now, bearing in mind, I think I'd only been driving about 3 months, and I think I was 19. And I took my little 1000cc Rover back to the garage, and obviously they had to give me a courtesy car, and they gave me a Sierra Cosworth. and I was convinced I was going to go back in time. I'd been driving 3 months in this tiny little Rover Metro, and then I had to drive home in this Cosworth. My God, I thought I was going to go back in time.
Wow.
Never driven anything like that, but yeah.
And did it have the big whale fin at the back?
It did have the big wheel fin at the back, yeah. I thought I was going to get a Micra or something because I'd seen them. They drove around in a Micra, and that was for somebody else, and then they brought this Cosworth round. Wow,
was that the similar the police vehicles used in RoboCop? They were Fords, weren't they? And were they similar? Yeah. Maybe somebody will know that's watching.
Yeah, I don't think they were. Yeah, they look similar. I don't think they were that model.
Similar, I think.
Yeah. They did look similar. Yeah, I don't think they were that though, but yeah.
It might not have been Sierras.
Yeah.
Somebody will know.
Yeah. When Skoda made a comeback in the knots, the adverts took the mick out of their own brand's history.
Right.
Huh? Interesting.
Right.
Yeah, I remember
I don't remember the commercials, but right.
Yep, kids with the remotes back in the day. Yeah, very true. We had tellies that you twisted a dial to tune in.
Yeah, right.
Fiddling with the aerial on the portable.
Yeah, definitely did that.
Yeah. How posh did you feel when you actually got a TV with a remote?
Yeah, well, the size was. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I thought we were posh when we got a doorbell. Hey, we're doing all right here, aren't we? We've got a doorbell. Mum and Dad must be doing all right.
So the Volkswagen station wagon, the estate car. Okay. Here we go. XR3 Mark III was out in 83, 84.
Right.
Wow, that's all.
Yeah, I'm not massively up on my cars, so apologies for I've got to make any mistakes.
The Badger had a 77 Dolomite he bought for $200 in the 90s. It was hanging but cool, and I trashed it because I was a kid in the country. Yeah, actually, my dad had a couple of Dolomites. I remember them. They were pretty cool. The Ford Taurus. Yeah.
Taurus. I don't think we got those over in the UK, did we?
No,
I don't remember us getting those.
Yeah. I remember, was there a Ford
Oh, there you go. Ford Taurus in RoboCop. Sorry.
That's it. It's the RoboCop. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was a Taurus.
Yep, there we go.
Ford Taurus. Yeah, cool.
Yeah. The Ford. So the Capri was the sort of two-door long bonnet sports car. What do you remember the Ford Cortina?
Yes, remember the
Cortina. Remember the Cortina. I remember the Cortina and the Granada.
Granada, yeah.
A few of those, yeah.
Yeah.
Cortina. There was a lot of cars back again. I don't think this was the 80s, but when I was growing up, I remember one car that came on the scene, and obviously I weren't anywhere near driving then, but there was one car that I remember looking at thinking, that's the car I want when I grow up. And it was a Vauxhall Calibra. I thought it was the best looking car on this planet when it was released. I mean, I think that'll have been the 90s, but I remember thinking that car was fantastic. And then obviously, as you grow up, plenty more cars are coming out. But I remember thinking that Calibra was an amazing car. I wanted that.
Yeah. I also remember my neighbor had this huge orange car. I think it was an Austin Maxi, which is a really weird looking thing. Big rounded back end and big long front. But I remember it had those classic, hubcap wheels, just a big plain chrome looking thing in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was called a Maxi.
I don't know.
I always remember thinking old style Beetles used to have just that huge chrome centerpiece on the wheels, didn't they? There was with the emblem in the middle.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Very simple back then. Those were great cars. Did you folks have slot racing car sets? In Canada, it was Tyco. Yeah, we had Skeletrics.
Skeletrics we had, yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
One set, I wasn't enamored by it. It didn't really do much for me.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it, but once they got around a few times, I suppose.
It got old pretty fast. But
that's the thing.
And then you had to mess with those silver strips a million times underneath because they weren't connecting properly.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's just sort of brush things going on at the bottom.
Used to bend them back and forth.
I think I got traumatized with Skeletric because when we were kids, I'm trying to think, it was some sort of rally set, but it came with a Rally Metro and an Audi A4. And my brother got the Audi A4, and it was miles faster than my car. So whenever he wanted to play, I never won, so I didn't want to play. It's like a few times. Oh yeah, well that's my car. So why don't you let me use it out? No, it's my car. Oh, I hated that game in the end.
Yeah,
never won.
Oh, the Fiat Yugo.
Fiat Yugo, yeah. Remember the Fiat Panda? Just a square box on wheels.
Yeah, the XR4i. So was that Escort or Sierra?
Yeah, I don't recall. I remember the XR2 and the XR3. I don't remember an XR4, but again...
I do remember the name, so I'm thinking that might be the Sierra, possibly. Every boyfriend my sister had drove a Ford Capri.
Capri, yeah.
So she must have been into the bad boys. The 205 GTI, Renault 5 Turbo, Golf GTI, Astra GTE, and the amazing Metro Turbo.
Yeah, I remember. I had a Golf. I remember I've had 3 Golfs actually in my lifetime, 2 GTIs. I love those. And I remember being a friend of my dad's had an Astra GTE, and I remember being amazed because that was the first car I'd ever sat in that had a digital speedo, and I thought that was amazing.
Yeah. No, I'm thinking. Wasn't the Metro Turbo, wasn't that made by MG as opposed to Austin? Because I remember being confused by Metros, because most of them were Austin Metros, but the good ones were made by MG, I'm sure.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
There was a Rover Metro in there as well. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Wow. So, yes, it was. I'm assuming that's, to me, where I thought the XR4i was the Sierra. Yeah, wow. So do they still do, in fact, obviously, I've no reason to be looking at British cars any longer, but I take the odd peek now and again, and even the most small-engined, simple cars have a pretty nice, sporty look to them these days. Whereas back in the day, to get a sporty look car, it had to be the top of the line model, which was a sports model. But I'm quite impressed with some of the cars I've seen made in the last few years.
Yeah, I think that's a fair comment. I think some cars do now, to try and sell them, I think, a bit more. They make more standard models with a little bit of a sporty trim, if you like.
Yeah, because remember, back in the day, alloy wheels were like a real luxury item. Whereas now, I think almost every car has alloy wheels on.
When they started, the Vauxhall Corsa was kind of like, that became like the small sporty car, didn't it? You could soup it up and you'd put the alloys on it.
Yeah.
Obviously, it was into the 90s at that point, but
yeah. When I was growing up and just learning to drive, I mean, obviously my first car was the Metro, but the two cars that generally kids my age had when they were starting to drive was either a Corsa, and I think that was an it could have been an SRI or SXI or something like that. But mostly they had Saxo VTRs. That was the car that everyone was driving. A Saxo VTR.
Yeah.
VTR was generally the model, but if you had money, if your mum and dad had money, you got a VTS. You got the next one.
They were deceptive cars because they were low in insurance, weren't they? And yet you could do whatever you wanted with them. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the Saxo. Now you mentioned that, I've not thought about that in decades. Wow.
There was a couple of Novas flying around as well. Vauxhall Novas.
Yeah.
That was an SRI.
Cheeky cars.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So Gilster is saying, this is the place to be. Hello. Hey. And up Gilster. So I can't believe it. We're actually hit the 2-hour mark.
Nice one.
That's completely flown by.
Well, apologies again, because obviously I think the disruption was my end. So for anyone that was experiencing difficulty, as soon as it was a matter of meters. And obviously everything's fine now.
Last hour's been fine, hasn't it?
Yeah.
No. So I want to thank you two guys for coming on. This has been a great discussion.
I really enjoyed it.
Thank you so much. And definitely have you back on again. As I keep saying, it's always an open invite. So whenever you want to come on, let me know, type of thing. And obviously we know that Luke has the Reynolds Reviews YouTube channel. Sorry, Reynolds Reviews.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, we do. It's very similar, isn't it?
I just caught Tez's comment in the corner of my eye there. So Reynolds Reviews, if you haven't already subscribed, make sure to do so. And Bry, do you have your own channel, or are you just a viewer?
No, nothing at all, really. I don't really have anything. I mean, I'm up for it. I'm a huge Star Wars fan, so if anyone wants to have me on to talk Star Wars and stuff, or anything, absolutely fine. Just starting out in this sort of stuff, so yeah.
Brilliant. So just got a couple more comments to whiz through. So always a pleasure. Well, thank you for watching. Great 80s chat. Again, thank you.
Cheers, Dave.
Hi, Tez. And hey, Gilster. And we've got one coming in here. Great chat tonight, lads. Proper good times. I'm off to drink some Kevin Keegan apple milkshake. Well, okay. I intend to get the last laugh on this. I'm going to find a picture.
It'll be on Twitter in the next 10 minutes from Dean, this picture.
Kevin Keegan apple milkshake. So what I've got Chewy bars, Chuck Noy Jobby, 3-wheel cars, and apple milkshake to research.
Yeah. And I'll go find my smoothie Darren Peacock drink or something.
Yeah. All right. So thank you to everyone who watched this. I hope you enjoyed it. I had a great time. Hope everyone else watched it had a great time. And I guess stay tuned for more videos from All Things 80s.
Thanks, guys.